When the princess' eldest sister was killed, the princess became so disturbed she wanted to end her own life. However, when she found out she was pregnant, she was so overjoyed she was determined to continue living. In the mountains, a sorceress the size of a giant wanted to marry the baby she was carrying. Since the baby would grow to be as strong as the giant, she had her sister turn her into a beautiful mermaid so that she could live in the sea. The baby escaped and ran into the arms of a good king who adopted her. Princess Morgan would later fall in love with the king, but when she realized he wouldn't marry her because of her disability, she went into hiding with her sister. The story progresses when the princess meets a man who lives on the other side of the mountain. He knows of the princess but has been forbidden to meet with her. After he rescues her from the evil sorcerer, he vows to save the princess from her prison. The Princess and the Great Dragon is my book recommendation today. It is a fun read, and the illustrations are wonderful. However, the dragon is a little strange. I wonder if he has some kind of mental health problem. It sounds like he needs to see a doctor. A wonderful feast and a ceremony with the king and all his attendants. Everyone ate until they could eat no more. An artist's painting captures the feast, but when the king presents the painting to the princess, he tells her it was a likeness and not the real person. A few days later, the princess is lost in the woods. She is fortunate she is rescued by a handsome prince. Even luckier, she is to be wed to him in 2 weeks. When they arrive at his home, he seems normal, but later she realizes that his behavior toward her is changing. She begins to have suspicions. In the second book, Princess Morgan searches for her sister. She must have heard from the prince because she ends up marrying him and finds out she is pregnant with twins. He is more than a little strange. She comes to believe that he is holding something back. When the king comes to visit, he takes her aside and tells her that he thinks her sister is living with him, and if she won't marry him, he will send someone to take her away. He tells her if she looks for her sister, then he will keep her in the castle. She is not convinced that he is telling the truth, so she sets off on her own. She is convinced that her sister has been murdered and fears that she will meet the same fate. She is prepared to sacrifice everything to get revenge. She lives in a small home along a deep ravine, and she writes to her sister and tells her how much she loves her. She has no way of knowing that a local woman sees the letters and decides to write to the sister. Their conversation goes back and forth. At the end of the conversation, the sister makes a deal with the woman to bring Morgan in for questioning. But when the sister arrives, the woman does not show up, so Morgan is arrested. When the sister discovers this, she is furious and determined to find out what happened to her sister. The second book is also a good read.